What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's video, we're going to make a product review of this Romoss portable power station. It's called the Thunder series. I've already taken it out of the box and I've charged it up for this video, but that's the only thing I've done. I get a lot of requests to do different kind of items and review videos, and a lot of times I say no. Majority of the time I say no, to be honest with you. I did a portable power station review last year, and I was thinking to myself, I will probably never use this thing. Well, it goes on every single trip with us, whether we're just going, an hour and a half away to the beach, or if we're going out of state or something, it follows along with us, and it usually powers our portable refrigerator in our vehicle. So when this company reached out, I said, sure, I'll take it, because it's actually like another tool that I can use around the house, and we can carry it places and it does things. So that's why I agreed to do this right here test with the Romoss portable power station today. All right, so let's get this open and see what everything is included in it. This is the owner's manual right here. We'll go through that in just a little bit. First box has got your power adapter. It's got a 120 volt wall outlet and a DC car charger as well. Next thing we got is the Romoss Rs500. So there it is, guys. This is it in all of its glory. It's very small, as you can see here by my hand size here. Let's get a tape measure and see the actual size of it. Let's go on the height of it first. So the height of it is going to be just at 7 inches tall. Let's do the width. Width is coming in just under 10, around 9 3/4 inches wide. And the depth of it, coming in just at 6.5 inches deep. Let's throw the specifications up here real quick. It is the RS500. It's got your size here. We went over that earlier. The capacity is 400 watt hours, 18 amp hours, and 22.2 volts. Flashlight has 1 watt output. The weight here, it's about 9 or 10 pounds. The LED light is 1 watt output, and this is for the reading light itself. Operating temperature, your input range here, the adapter is 12 to 28 volts, 100 watts max. The solar panel MPPT is the same. The car charger is 12 volts at 60 watt max. Now the AC output here is 120 volts, 60 hertz, 500 watts, and a peak of 1000 watts. Now I kind of want to try that with some realistic kind of type tools that I would use around the house and around the shed and see exactly what it'll do. Now it lets you know on the output of the USB 1, 2, and 3, the 5 volt is 3.4 amps, 9 volts at 2 amps, or 12 volts at 1.5 amps. The output type C is 5 volts at 3 amps, 9 volts at 3 amps, 12 volts at 3 amps, or 15 volts at 3 amps, or 20 volts at 3 amps, the 60 watt max. Wireless output, 10 watts max. So to be able to put the phone on the top of the unit is a 10 watts max output. And the car charger is 12 volts, 10 amp, 120 watts max output. So the first thing you notice on the front here is you got a little LCD screen. You got a main power on off button. You have a light switch. You have a DC on off button. This DC button, it controls the 12 volt, 10 amp outlet here, which is normally like a the old school cigarette lighter adapters for cars. People still use them to charge different devices. Under the flap, you have 3 USB 18 watt outputs, and you have 1 USB-C 60 watt output there. You have an eco mode button here. On the front right here, you have the input to charge it, whether you want to charge it through your wall, through your car, or through solar. You have an AC button, and you have 1 AC outlet right there. And it's on a spring-loaded hinge here, so it automatically closes when you're not using it. Now on the side of it, you have 1 light right there. On the back, there's nothing on there. On this side, there's nothing either. On the bottom, you just have your specifications of the little power unit there. And on the very top, you have a charger for a phone. So this is a wireless charger. Now, if you're just looking at it the first time, you think that might be all of its features. Well, it has one more feature, and it's hidden, and it's inside the handle. pull the handle up and you have another light. It's like a reading light. All right, so before we get into any kind of test, let's turn this thing on and let's, kind of go through it and play with it and see exactly what it does. First button here is going to be power. LCD screen comes on, battery meter showing 100%. Now, when I got this in, it was sitting around 55%, so I charged it up for today's video. And I also noticed the eco button, the light automatically came on. Well, I was reading in the owner's manual here about the eco button. So let's say you forget to turn the unit off. There's nothing pulling any kind of current away from it. Well, it'll automatically go into like a sleep mode or a power savings mode after a while. So that's pretty neat there. And if you turn the button off, it will not go into the sleep mode. That's really the only function of the eco mode itself. The next button here is for the light. You hit it one time, you get the flashlight on the side. You hit it another time and you have the light up top here. You hit it one more time and you don't have any light from the back or the side. Now on this lower left portion here, this is going to be your DC output stage here, or the DC output mode. You have a 12 volt, 10 amp outlet here. You have 3 USB outlets. I believe those say 18 watts. And this USB-C is 60 watt output here. So we can turn this on. This up here is showing an output and it's showing hours. So the output hours right now, there's nothing plugged up to it. It's saying 399 hours. I guess that's like a standby time. Okay. Now it is showing 1 DC USB watt that's being pulled away from it, probably due to the screen or to the USB, which is converting the low voltage down into like a 5 volt output. Turn this off. Let's go here and check out the AC side. Now on the AC side, it's showing 57, 66. It's fluctuating a little bit. Let's let it stop here just for a minute. So it's saying 66.5 hours, standby mode time, I guess, 6 watts. That's probably the wattage it's taking to go and inverting it from the low voltage to the 120 volt output for this right here, output to work. I wonder what happens if we turn the DC on and the AC on at the same time. Let's see what kind of hours we have then. So it's showing 49.8 hours of standby time and it's producing about 7 watts so far. Let's turn the light on and see what kind of power it pulls. So it's pulling a little bit more wattage from it as well. As you see here, the light's on. And we're showing our hours are fluctuating between 39.9 and 44.3 hours. Welcome to my junk garage back here. I'm running out of room with all kind of projects. I'm a hoarder when it comes to projects. I'm gonna power the light down in the shed here. I'm gonna turn the flashlight on this little power station and see exactly how bright it is. This is how bright it is. Now my shed back here is 20 feet in length and I'm behind the camera at the door back here. Okay, so we got the club car DS body right there for our golf cart that's going to be on 35s. I got some lithium batteries. I got a chainsaw I pulled out of the dump and got it running. Got some more lithium stuff. Got some engine stuff for one of my builds of my truck. So pretty bright light. It does have a spot beam on it. And it's pretty much a round spot beam, as you can see. And the rest of the light is, well, it's a little bit of a flood. So, yeah, pretty good, especially for the light that's on the side of this little unit. All right, so let's test out the light that's inside the handle. First, we're going to go ahead and turn off the main flashlight here. We have this light right here. Let's turn the lights off in the shop again and see exactly what it looks like. This would be perfect if you're camping. So once I got the handle kind of down in this this direction here, the light is not really going very far behind the camera at all. So you can read a book, you can read the newspaper, whatever it is. You're not going to have a bunch of lights. That's right here. That's a pretty neat idea. That's the first time I've seen that on one of these. I'm able to read this right here very clearly, even though it's dark out here. And we'll go ahead and turn this right here light off one more time to show you exactly how dark it is. So there it is. We are in the dark here. I'm gonna hit the light again. The flashlight is gonna turn on. We're gonna hit it one more time, and the reading light turns back on. So I really do like this right here a lot. All right, the next thing we need to check is the wireless charging function up here at the very top here. I need to power it on in order to do so. I have an old Samsung Galaxy phone that we're going to try that with, and it does have a case on it. So let's see exactly how long it takes and if we need to get it in the right spot in order to do so. There it is. It's powered on, or it's not powered on, but it's charging. You see the phone there, it's got the charger function on it. But if you notice down here on the screen, it's not letting you know a wattage output. So you got to hit the DC or the AC in order to see the wattage output. Right now it's showing around 3 watts here. So this right here may be pulling 1 or 2 watts. Let's pull the phone away from the unit and see if that number goes down. The number goes down on the screen itself there. And if you notice the wireless logo on the phone here, it went away, so we're going to put that back on there. The wattage is starting to go back up again. So it must have detected the phone. There it is. Took a little longer. This is an older phone, but there it is. So the next thing I'm going to try here, I'm going to introduce a Apple MacBook here to the equation. Now, on the MacBook, it's showing it's not fully charged. It's down low there. The light's white. I'm going to turn the DC portion of the unit on. And I'm just going to plug up the laptop to the USB-C of the charger here and see if it will charge in that configuration there. So it is charging. It says it's 34% charged. And we're pulling about, there's 42, 45, 48. Let's let this right here keep going and see exactly how much it's going to pull here. So right now it's pulling about 58 watts to charge the laptop up from the USB-C function over here. So it's saying that our remaining hours left is about 9.5 hours while they're plugged in. I have a GoPro 360. I use it on some of my videos. Do the same thing with it here. Plug it in to the USB-C as well. It just powered up. And as you can see, it's starting to charge down here. It says 33%. So it's starting to charge there. All right, guys, so I got my helmet on, my face shield. I'm having to talk to the mic here. I got a piece of metal. This is 1x2. This is about an 1/8 wall material right here. I have a side grinder with a cutoff disc. Now on the side grinder itself, let me bring it over to the camera so you can see it. Let's see if you can see that there. It's saying it's 120 volt and it's pulling around 6 amps, I do believe. Can you see that? Right there underneath the Skill logo. So let's see exactly if this right here will handle a brand new cutoff disc. And let's see if we can cut a piece of this metal here and use the Romoss power station to power it. And let's see if it'll cut off or not. So I'm going to put the mic down and we're going to start cutting. Now, if you notice the initial startup with the grinder, it takes about like 700 watts to get it started going. Once it starts to go, and it kind of drops down around a couple of 100 watts. So So there it is, guys. We actually cut this piece of metal twice. I didn't have the camera low enough the first time, so I wanted to do it again. And we're looking like we're ready around 91% state of charge still. The only thing I really don't like so far, well, I guess we could just hit the eco mode there, is you have to hit something in order to get the screen to turn back on. But there it is. We're pulling a couple of 100 watts, like, about 400 or 500 watts just then. The battery right now is at 91%. So do I think it's made for metal work? No, I don't. But did it work? Yes, it did. Now, you might find yourself in a pinch and have to do something like that. Well, this is capable of doing that. All right, guys. Next thing we have here is some tools, just some DeWalt tools. Every homeowner will probably have a sander, a corded drill, or circular saw, and you may even have like a little compact router. So I was pulling these out. I was looking at the amperage that these pull. I think this one right here is around like 2.5, 3.5 amps. It says it right in there. Maybe you guys can see it on camera. It's a compact router here. You can see the amperage on there as well. I have a drill. We're looking for the amperage on a drill as well. And that's like 8.5 amps. We have a circular saw. Okay. I believe the circular saw. Now I have a 4x4 post right here. And on my compact router, I just have a round over bit. It jumped up a little bit, but it came back down. It's like 162, 160, something like that, watts. Now the compact router worked. Yeah, if you've seen it, the very first it jumped up like 500-600 watts to begin with, and it slowly came back down. Got the round over there. There's no more sharp edge here on this 4x4. All right, guys, so I went and I grabbed some deck screws. I was thinking, well, that'd be a pretty good test just to throw some deck screws into this 4x4. Now I was thinking about it. Now let's get the deck screws. Let's go straight to a hole saw. So this is a hole saw. I think it's maybe about 1.3 1/4 inch, 1.5 something like that. Not exactly sure. The hole saw is unbalanced because I got this big bolt in here holding it in. But the first test we're going to do is I'm going to just power it on, and let's see exactly when the wattage jumps up here on the front of the meter. So it jumped up into the 400 watt range, and it came back down into like the 300 range. So that's good on that. Now let's see exactly what it'll do with this piece of wood here. All right, so we have killed it. Well, not killed it, but it did say error O2 or EO2. It turned the unit off. There it is. Turn it back on. It's at 89%. Now it did make it down some in the wood, and I believe it would kept on going if I would have just slowly gave it the juice. Let's see if we can do that. Might be another problem there that the bit come out with it. All right, so we went down about 1.75 inches or so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just mash the trigger on the circular saw. And we're going to read the wattage here as well. All right, guys, so there it goes. This circular saw will not work with this. It's pulling too much wattage or too much amps away from this right here as well. And it's throwing that error code EO2. So it does let you know that it's safe enough that it will not keep going, and it just throws an error code. But we were able to drill a hole with it with the hole saw. We were able to cut a piece of metal, and we were able to use a router, and that's probably more than most people would do with a power supply of this size here. All right, guys, there it is. So it's really not designed for like metalworking or woodworking, especially like the size. I mean, look how small it's like it's almost the size of a lunchbox. As a kid, you remember those that you'd carry to school, them 10 lunch boxes? It's not much bigger than that. I don't think it's really designed for the metal worker or the woodworker. I think it's designed more for like the tech family, or the family might go camping. You need some LED lights. It's going to charge your phone up overnight. Maybe you want to carry a blender with you or something like that that you really can't live without, if you know what I mean, while camping. I think it's a great little unit. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't think it was going to work with the router. I thought it was going to instantly fail. And then as I was working the hole saw on the drill, the more you press down, the more amperage it was pulling, because it was having to work harder. Obviously, that's a given. But we did trip it with the circular saw. But hey, we cut that piece of metal with it as well, and I was really thinking it wasn't going to work with that either. So, in a pinch, could you use this small of a device for some of those tools? You could. You're not going to build a house with it. You might not even build a dog house with it. But hey, you might be able to drill a couple of holes or cut something, or sand something down just fine. But, I think it's a jam up little unit. So there it is, guys. I'll place some links to this right here in the description below, where you guys can check it out even further. And you can tell me how much of a dummy I am for trying to use those kind of tools with this little device. But when a company reaches out and says, hey, we want you to make a product review, well, I'm going to make a product review, and we're going to test this stuff out. And we've seen exactly what it did. Now, well, guys, that's pretty much it. So appreciate you watching today's video. Like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.